Should I be more enthusiastic? I feel like I should be more enthusiastic. What was this? I don't think it's this. I think it's... Yeah, it's this. I don't even know my own intro. Hey guys! I think I talked too fast. And I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know at all, actually. Okay. Hey guys, Lene here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, then welcome. My name is Lene, and if you are returning from my previous video, then hi! It's been a while. How are you? Yeah, remember at the end of my last video when I said this? Thanks guys, have an awesome week, and we'll see you next week. Well...
Many months later.
Yeah, but we're here, and we're filming, and that's what's important, right? Yeah, sure. 1 pause, 2 pause, 3 pause more! This is my cat. He's loving us being home for self-isolation because he gets attention at the wazoo. He leaves hair all over my room. So today's makeup is two things that I love kind of combined. So I love, as you guys know, the creepy, the gory, the blah, 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 but I also love history and folklore and urban legends and cultural stories. So we're gonna combine those two and create a really awesome makeup. Hopefully. The makeup that we're doing today is actually based off multiple different cultural stories, or, you know, bedtime stories parents would say to their kids to stop them from doing things that they shouldn't. Folklore, urban legends, blah 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 blah, whatever. All the makeup today is based off of all of that. And we have very similar stories across multiple different cultures. So we're going to create one makeup that kind of incorporates all of those cultures and stories and urban legends and all that stuff. So yeah, the most popular one is probably La Llorona. So the Weeping Woman is what she's also known as, because La Llorona directly translates to the Weeping Woman. It's Spanish. It's fine. But La Llorona is a Mexican folklore or a Mexican urban legend that was told to kids to keep them from wandering by the water's edge late at night. For their safety, obviously. The story goes like this. La Llorona is a story that talks about a woman named Maria. Maria had 2 children, I believe, and she was married to a very wealthy man. La Llorona kind of varies from story to story. Depending on who's telling it, it might change. But the way that I know it is that La Llorona had 2 kids, was married to a very wealthy man, and he started coming home less and less, and when he was home, he only spent time with his kids. And of course, Maria was jealous of them, and then later found out that her husband was actually having an affair. So out of rage, she took her 2 sons and she drowned them in the river. And then once she realized what she had done, she was so heartbroken that she had done that she drowned herself in the same river. And then the urban legend goes this way, that that Maria, or La Llorona is what everyone knows her as, wanders the water's edge or on the water, crying and weeping for her lost children. That's why she's called the Weeping Woman. Crying and weeping for her lost children. And any children or people that wander too close to the water's edge at night when she's near, she will drag them into the water and drown them to appease her drowned children. So it's a heartbreaking story, but this is what Mexican parents would tell their children and have for generations to keep them from wandering near the water's edge. Now there's other stories that sound very similar to that. The things that I take away from that story is that A, she's crying or she's weeping. She's known to wear white and look very almost like wispy. Some of the words that they use. She's a willowy white figure, so she's just like pale white. It says that she wanders the water banks in her funeral gown, which is the white gown that she wears, and that she drowns people and that she lost her kids. So those are the kind of the main points that I wanted to touch on, because a lot of these other stories share similar aspects of the story, and some of them share the same points as well. Some are kind of loosely veiled, but when I did a whole bunch of research about this, there's people who believe that these stories resemble La Llorona. Alright, so I'm gonna go change my clothes into my costume thing. I'll be right back, and we'll get into the makeup and I'll tell you the rest of the stories. So let's go. Alright, so I decided I'm gonna put my costume on a little later after the makeup's done or close enough to done, just so I'm not getting anything on it as it is white. But for right now, we're gonna crack into the makeup. So I'm gonna take off my everyday makeup. I'm gonna put my hair up out of the way. And as I do the makeup, I'm gonna talk about the other stories that kind of resemble La Llorona. And then we're gonna work into our makeup today. But the things that we're gonna start with, based off of La Llorona, is that I'm assuming she's pale because she's known as a wispy white character. She was drowned, and she is known to cry. So those are gonna be the 3 points that we're gonna work off of starting now. Okay. Yeah, so let's get rid of all this. Let's put this up, and then I'll be right back. Yeah. Wow, my face looks so much more patchy on camera. Love it so much. Alrighty, so I took off all my makeup, I put my hair up in a ponytail to keep it out of the way, and we're gonna get into the makeup. So number one thing that we're gonna start with is she's known to be a willowy white character. So we are going to make me, paler. I'm quite pale, but we're gonna make me more pale by probably putting on a white base. So let me check into ground to make and video. Stay hydrated. All right, so to pale myself out, I am straight up gonna go in with like a white cream cake makeup here, and just kind of blend it into my skin. So it's not gonna be like a thick layer of white paint, but I'm just gonna kind of blend it into my skin. So we're gonna start with that. Yeah. Halloween makeup. Woo! Here we go. We're switching to a brush. We're gonna keep this into high gear. Okay, so as we go along here, I'm going to dive now into the other stories that resemble La Llorona. So first off, this one is probably the most loosely veiled, but it is a Aztec goddess named the Snake Woman, or Woman Serpent is also what she's known as. She is a fertility and motherhood goddess. She is associated with midwives, and she's depicted as a warrior. Now, the things that tie her in to La Llorona, again, loosely veiled, but she is known to wander alone at night, crying, constantly crying, and not that this is a huge thing, but she wears white. She's known to wear white, as my band teacher would say. My face looks like kind of like pinky because I have like a naturally red undercoat. An actually red tinge to my face. But yeah, that's the first character, Aztec goddess. The next character that I want to talk about is also an Aztec goddess, and she is called the one in the jaded skirt, or the one with the jaded skirt, or the jaded skirted one. Jade skirted one. Wow, my teeth look yellow against this light. Promise they're not that yellow. Not that you would believe me, because that looks really white. Anyway, yes, so the one in the jaded skirt. She is the goddess that oversees the waters in the Aztec culture, and she is greatly feared, and she is known to drown those who displease her. And the Aztecs sacrificed children in order to satisfy her, in order to please her. So again, now the Aztec ones are kind of loosely veiled, but there's still some similarities, where children were the ones that were sacrificed. So La Llorona is directly correlated with children. The story is for children. She killed her children via drowning. Yes. The Aztec, the one in the jaded skirt, that the Aztecs sacrificed children to her, that she is the overseer of the waters, and she's known to hover above it or wander around it, like La Llorona, and she's known to drown those who displease her. Those all are super, super relevant to La Llorona. The next character that I want to talk about. Actually, before I do that, let's move on to my next step, because I think I've whited myself out as much as I can, and I'll add more as I need to. But for now, this will work. I want her to look very skeletal. She is supposed to be dead. La Llorona is. So I'm gonna try and make myself look skeletal. So to do that, I'm going to use some grays and browns and a little bit of purple even too, because this is supposed to be a dead character, especially one that has been soaking in the water. So we're gonna add in some of those purples as well. So yes, purples, blacks, and grays to make her look skeletal and more dead. I look a little too alive for this look. Okay, so as we get into that, let's go into the next story. So the next story that I have written on my little card it's from Greek mythology. It's this character Medea. Medea? I don't know. She's an enchantress. That sounds wrong. Enchantress. She was a sorcerer. She was a sorcerer or witch in Greek mythology. There's a couple things that connect her to this story as well. So she married this guy named Jason. They were being chased by another person. So to slow the pursuit, she cut up her brother with Jason's help and threw him in the river to slow down their pursuit. And then later, she kills her husband, Jason, after he had betrayed her. So there are some similarities in that story too, to La Llorona, because La Llorona didn't kill her husband, but she had great aggression towards her husband. That's why she did what she did. And she killed her brother. La Llorona killed her children and threw them in the water. There's a couple different characters that tie into La Llorona that I'm not really going to go into too much. The next one again is a loosely veiled one, but it's actually stories from Irish culture. So I'm sure this one's a well-known character, but the Banshee. The Banshee is a female spirit that is the messenger of death. It's said in culture that when you are about to die, you will be visited by a banshee. You'll hear it. You'll hear it wailing, and you'll see it, and it'll be outside your house. If you see a banshee, it means that you are about to die. If you hear a banshee, it means somebody else is about to die. Banshees are female spirits. They're known as like messengers of death. They're also known to wear white and to cry or wail or even screech is how it's sometimes depicted, but normally it's kind of tied in with wailing. So what I'm pulling from that is that banshees are directly associated with death, so is La Llorona if you see her, that they are women and that they are known to wail. That one has nothing to do with water, unlike the other stories, but it has some other similarities. And then the last one that I really want to talk about is a character named Jenny Greenteeth. Now Jenny Greenteeth is probably the closest one to La Llorona, except she is from the UK. She's an English bedtime story that parents would tell their kids, again, to keep them away from water late at night. Alright, so Jenny is a water fairy, actually. A lot of people refer to her as a water hag, who is known to grab, with her long arms, grab children and drown them in her water pits if they get too close. So yeah, she's known to drown children that get too close to her pit, or like where she is in her little water pit or pond, wherever she happens to be residing. She is also known as a water hag, and it says that in her past life that she drowned her own children as well. Now, Jenny Greenteeth is the one that's going to have the most effect on this makeup because she's a little bit of a different character visually. The other ones, you know, they're depicted as women. are goddesses, so I would assume that they would be depicted as, beautiful. But Ginny is known, yes, she is a fairy, but she's known as a water hag. And all the images that depict Ginny are like horrific. They're gross. She's known to be kind of deformed and covered in vines and seaweed, have these kind of long, creepy arms. Yeah, so that's what we're going to work with for now. I'm just going to get into the makeup. I'll probably talk a little bit as I go along. I'll probably just more do the makeup. Okay, so now that I've got the general bruising effect down that I want, I'll still build on it, but for right now I'm going to go in with alcohol activated paints and create veins. I have two palettes, both by Skin Illustrator. They're both alcohol activated palettes. There's a dark flesh tone, and then there is the complexion palette. So I'm probably going to use these both. The dark one, sorry for how messy these are. The dark flesh tone one has this blue color there, which is meant for veins. And then the other one, complexion, has more of like a greeny color here. So I'm gonna work with both of those, concentrating the veins to like my mouth area, eyes, maybe up where I have this bruise up here, and then kind of down in my neck area, which I guess is everywhere. Here we go. Again, I'm not going to talk a whole lot from here on out unless there's something important that I have to say, so enjoy this music. this is the final look. I went and popped in some white mesh contacts. I wetted my hair back and brushed it back, put in some paint up in the top as well. And of course I went and put on my pirate blouse. Bam. So this is my makeup. This is the Weeping Woman. It's inspired by a lot of different urban legends that kind of focus around La Llorona. La Llorona, of course, being the main inspiration for this makeup. There is a character I did forget to mention, and her name is Rosa, and her origin is in Kansas. There's a bridge there called Rosa's Bridge, and the story is very, very similar to La Llorona's. She was married to a wealthy man. They had a child together, and then he left her and married somebody else. So out of rage, not being able to look at her baby anymore without seeing her husband that had left her, she threw the baby over the bridge, and after realizing what she had done, she threw herself into the water looking for the baby. This story goes that if you are by the bridge at night, you can hear her calling out for her baby and crying. It's very similar to La Llorona, and that was another inspiration for this makeup. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, make sure you smash that like button and you subscribe to my channel down below. And also don't forget to turn on the post notifications so that when I do post, you guys can see that. I really, really hope the next time I post will not be 7 months from now, and I'm going to try really hard to make sure that that's not the case. So make sure you turn on those post notifications so that when I do post, no matter how long it may be, that you can see that post. I'm not going to say see you next week. For now, I'm going to say see you next time, and hopefully that will be very, very soon. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you later. Bye. I hope you understand.